has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage? Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division.
But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
Of the opponent. But anybody that's watched Terence Crawford's career knows full well how much talent this young man has. I mean, he is absolutely sensational, both as an orthodox and as a southpaw fighter. You can't really tell which is his favoured side.
ESPN commentators Dan Rafael and Stephen A. Smith break down why Terence Crawford would dominate Canelo Álvarez. They observe that while Alvarez previously possessed an unbreakable chin, his recent performances have revealed defensive vulnerabilities, with him absorbing clean shots more frequently. Crawford's distinctive blend of elusive footwork, impeccable timing, and concussive power creates a stylistic nightmare. According to their analysis, Crawford possesses the complete arsenal to outmaneuver and significantly damage Álvarez.
I think Terence Crawford is a marvelous boxer, arguably the best in the world, pound for pound. But can you hurt Canelo? If you can't hurt him, I have no doubt he can outbox him. My issue is, if you can't hurt him, what kind of a challenge can you truly pose? What do you say to that?
No, that's a great point. I mean, here's the thing. Canelo Álvarez has a historically great chin. Now, I go back way back when he first came to the United States and started boxing, and he found himself on an HBO pay-per-view undercard years and years ago, fighting against the older brother of the great Miguel Cotto. His name was Jose Miguel Cotto, and he had gotten a ton of hype. He had signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and a lot of those of us in the media. And I had seen him a couple of times before that. This is my first time seeing him in person, really paying close attention. And he almost got knocked out in the first round. And I remember Stephen A., all of us looking around at Media Row going, what the heck is this all hyped about? This man can't take a shot. He's going to get drilled. He was lucky that the fight was over, that the round was over in round 1, or there might have been some much more trouble. Stephen A., that was like, 16, 17 years ago. I've never seen him wobbled, rocked, physically, visibly hurt since then. He has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage? Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division. But even at junior middleweight, which is where Terence Crawford had his most recent fight back in August, when he moved up and he won a world title, he didn't blow the doors off. He fought a very tough, solid opponent named Israel Madrimov. He gave him a good fight. It was very close. Madrimov's people seem to think he might have even been able to edge it out. But if you can't hurt an Israel Madrimov at 154, what the heck are you going to do with Canelo Álvarez, the sturdiest guy in the world, at 168? So that aspect of it is certainly a problem. You mentioned about Charlo. Charlo was there to get his check. I know one thing about Terence Crawford. He's not going to just come to turn up to get the check. He'll at least try. And Charlo, I don't think, really tried.
Stephen A. Smith presents a forceful and unambiguous perspective when discussing the impending showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Álvarez. Unhesitatingly, he positions himself in Crawford's corner, declaring absolute faith in his capacity to emerge victorious. For Smith, Crawford's distinguishing factors extend beyond pure technique to include an insatiable desire to secure this triumph. He underscores that Crawford's psychological approach and resolve to validate himself will critically influence the result. Smith's assured demeanor demonstrates how deeply he respects Crawford's aspirations and the persistent motivation that drives his training camp.
You got a love for boxing.
Love
Who gonna
boxing.
win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Álvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally big and strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
always prepared.
He's always ready.
gotta
He's
give him that.
always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's...
Teddy Atlas reinforces Crawford's position by stressing the principle of technical superiority over physical attributes. In his assessment, bodily measurements like mass or arm length cannot surpass perfected boxing fundamentals. He emphasizes that Crawford's approach is characterized by accuracy, perfect timing, and flexible adaptation. These traits hold substantially greater significance than pure physical presence. From Atlas's viewpoint, Alvarez's power and musculature diminish in effectiveness against a technician who understands how to deconstruct opponents through sheer pugilistic mastery. His outlook strengthens the conviction that genuine sporting expertise can frequently counter physical drawbacks and alter the equilibrium in pivotal confrontations.
Maybe he's a little overrated.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Álvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good, really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moved up in weight class, can carry it, but those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
Al Bernstein illuminates an additional aspect of Crawford's capabilities, his unpredictability. He clarifies that Crawford avoids employing a fixed or foreseeable strategy during combat. Rather, he modifies tactics mid-bout, generating complications for rivals who find it difficult to predict his subsequent actions. Against a technician like Alvarez, who excels at timing and counterpunching, this erratic quality transforms into a significant hurdle. Bernstein observes that Crawford's facility to transition between orthodox and southpaw positions introduces extra complexity. This multifaceted approach complicates Alvarez's ability to foresee offensive moves, making him susceptible to combinations he might not anticipate.
Most fans or most people would probably say Crawford, I'm guessing, because that's a big part of how he's won, and everybody feels that and rightfully so, that the way he's figured out, he's constantly changing from lefty to righty. He's a person that alters his attack. Sometimes he's a boxer, sometimes he's walking people down. Canelo's style is more the same in most fights. He is a counterpuncher who's waiting for you to make your move so he can counterpunch you. Then when he has you in trouble, he's willing to move forward. His attack is a pretty straightforward one. On the face of it, you might say Crawford, but I think the thing about Canelo Álvarez is that he has seen every style that you can see.
Gareth A. Davies directs his focus toward Terence Crawford's substantial professional background, highlighting that the American has participated professionally for beyond 15 years. This extraordinary duration in the sport has honed his reflexes, polished his ring intelligence, and granted him the capacity to maintain composure during intense duress. Davies asserts that Crawford's technical arsenal has never been doubtful, noting that his record demonstrates sustained superiority against elite-level competition. Throughout his career, Crawford has encountered diverse styles, heavy hitters, elusive boxers, and durable veterans. Still, he has consistently discovered methods to adjust and prevail. This flexibility combined with his composure and technical excellence has established his status as among the most well-rounded fighters of his era. According to Davies, such extensive experience offers Crawford a distinctive benefit that cannot be ignored, particularly when considering an impending clash with Canelo Álvarez.
The levels that he's gone through, the weights that he's gone through, and the opponents that he has been in with, he's come up short against a couple. But he's come through some big challenges as well through his, 65, 66 professional bouts since he was 15 years of age. There's no doubt that this is the biggest test of Terence Crawford's career, not only because of the weight step up, but also because of the level of the opponent. But anybody that's watched Terence Crawford's career knows full well how much talent this young man has. He is absolutely sensational, both as an orthodox and as a southpaw fighter. You can't really tell which is his favoured side. He's that good, the angles that he creates, and the way that he not only dissects people, but the way that he puts his foot down when he gets somebody hurt is
he's spiteful.
He's truly, truly impressive.
But what he also does, and this is where I think people are making the mistake with the fight with Israel Madrimov last summer in Los Angeles, was that Terence doesn't mind doing enough to win. He doesn't, if he knows he's got to win on points, he's happy to tuck everything neatly in the office and win round by round. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. It reminds me of Pernell Whitaker. It reminds me of guys that win with ease without overstretching themselves, that don't have to get in a battle. But when he's got someone hurt, as you rightly say, he's spiteful. I'm not sure he'll get Canelo hurt in this fight. But if his timing and his movement are on, the slightly slowed Canelo, who likes to load up these days, could find himself frustrated by Terence Crawford.
Yeah, and there's also the aspect of when he is behind. I mean, we've all seen that famous clip where he's fighting Sean Porter. Somebody sells him ringside. They've got him down on the cards. He goes through the gears and stops Sean Porter in the very next round. There's also that element to him. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, but he's also fighting someone that's equally as brilliant. A very different type of style, Canelo.
And a fan favourite.
Self-belief emerges as a persistent motif when examining Crawford. An analyst remarks that his displays in training rounds have created enduring impacts on coaches and boxers who have collaborated with him. These accounts indicate that Crawford repeatedly demonstrates his genius even outside sanctioned matches. His capability to control sparring sessions reflects a combatant who remains perpetually ready and never negligent in his art. Assurance derived from such sustained superiority fortifies his psychological resilience. This degree of self-certainty enables him to enter the squared circle convinced he can intellectually surpass and physically outperform anybody, including Alvarez.
He's so confident. He's so confident that he's about to become undisputed. Listen, 2 weeks to go, less than 2 weeks to go now. What? We're talking about 12 days. 12 days. What can we expect from this unbelievable showdown? Listen, the build-up has been absolutely incredible. When you talk about the sparring stories, when you talk about the unbelievable rumors that we've been hearing for the past 10 to 12 weeks, will but Crawford's power carry? Will Canelo age overnight? So many questions that we have when it comes to this unbelievable fight. But not too long to go, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to find out the truth. We are about to find out who's truly the greatest of this era. And let me tell you this. I said this in most of my videos so far. The more I watch Bud Crawford and the more I watch Canelo Álvarez tape, the more my appreciation for both men increases. Listen, Canelo is the greatest pressure/counter puncher in history when he puts both together. And Crawford is the most dynamic fighters my eyes ever saw. Ever saw. Now, listen to this. The moment this fight got announced, we didn't know the things that we know now. We didn't know about their sparring partners. We didn't know about the shape that they were gonna come in for this fight.
Aries Spears, a comic and devoted boxing enthusiast, contributed his personal historical context to the fight. He examined generations of encounters where certain Mexican legendary champions confronted American boxers renowned for velocity and technique. In numerous those historic battles, the American contingent prevailed principally due to their proficiency in protection, evading blows, and managing tempo with accurate counters. Spears acknowledged that Alvarez represents a multifaceted fighter with experience against elite competition. Still, he proposed this encounter perpetuates an extended heritage of opposing methodologies where timing, defensive skills, and adaptive frequently determine outcomes.
Top-notch Hispanic fighter, put him against top-notch black fighter, the black dude usually edges him out. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Latino fighters, because look at the greats. De La Hoya, motherfucking
Roberto Duran,
Arguello, Felix Trinidad, what's my man's name? Chavez.
Huh?
So there have been legends, but 9 times out of 10, when the top Mexican legend takes on the top black legend, the black dude wins. Boxing and basketball is just something that niggas just, we got that wop that just, we edge you out. We edge you out. Duran lost to Hagler. He got knocked out so viciously by Hearns. The rumor is he's still waking up today. He lost he did the no-mas with Leonard.
Yeah, no, I've been hanging out with Sugar Ray Leonard recently. We talked about that whole situation.
De La Hoya lost to Floyd. He lost to Bernard. He lost to Sugar Shane Mosley. Usually the black fighters edge out the Latinos when it come down to it.
So basically you're saying Crawford's gonna win because he's black?
I'm saying he's gonna win because he's got skills. But that black component, that's that extra juice.
That's that extra juice? I mean, look.
It's like the Batmobile when it's going fast, and then he hits the nitro button, and the flame shoots out of the back of the car and takes it to another level. Black dudes have the nitro switch.
Conversely, Canelo Álvarez articulates his characteristic confidence. He rejects requiring external endorsement, proclaiming that he needs nobody's authorization to verify his magnificence. For Álvarez, internal conviction has perpetually been fundamental to his identity as a pugilist. His history of triumphs against premier adversaries supplies proof for this assuredness. Yet, his posture equally emphasizes the psychological contrast between himself and Crawford. Whereas Crawford pursues self-validation and chases a career-defining victory, Álvarez depicts himself as already positioned at boxing's summit.
That's you know you're gonna have, right? They can't deny you anymore.
I don't know, but I don't give a fuck. So I feel I'm the best, and that's it. I don't focus on if the people say or put me in the first position. I'm the best. I feel I'm the best. I'm doing because I love boxing.
I call Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. This is my mega fight. This is my moment.
You didn't have much interest in this Crawford fight. You were saying that there wasn't much in it for you, and you pointed out that people will say that he was too small. What changed?
I think he's one of the best fighters for more fun. No, he accomplished a lot of things too. Mexican with the American fighter is always big.
When he fights you at Allegiant Stadium, I imagine it's going to be, 55,000 plus screaming Canelo fans, right? Many from Mexico.
Sean Porter communicates with total certainty regarding Terence Crawford's prospects against Canelo Álvarez. He maintains that Crawford's preparation and mental state are functioning at a standard seldom witnessed in the sport. According to Porter, Crawford will enter the ring with an innovative strategic blueprint created expressly to deconstruct Álvarez's approach. He emphasizes Crawford's blistering quickness, perfect timing, and methodical implementation as the pivotal elements that will distinguish him during the battle. Porter imagines a display so comprehensive that it might reshape standards in contemporary boxing, solidifying Crawford's status with among the most authoritative wins in recent recollection. This contest is being marketed as among the most challenging and career-determining instants in Terence Crawford's journey. Numerous regard Canelo Álvarez as the supreme quality adversary Crawford has ever confronted, rendering the implications tremendous. For Álvarez, the burden is equally substantial. A defeat to Crawford, who is inherently the smaller man ascending in weight, could tarnish his otherwise stellar heritage. In boxing, history customarily evaluates these occasions severely, particularly when a larger titleist succumbs to a lighter contender. That explains why for Álvarez, success transcends pride. It is crucial to safeguard his position among the sport's immortal figures.
Canelo's legacy. And he gave a resounding yeah. A resounding yeah. He said it would tarnish Canelo, massively tarnish Canelo's legacy. And some of the things that he said were just basically things that most of us know, just some register and make sure that other people know and others don't, right? But it would tarnish his legacy, and for the obvious reasons. One is, we know that the guy's older. Crawford's older. He's going to be 38 years old here, right? So he's an older fighter. He's an inactive fighter, right? And that most of the time, these are things that, make people say that people are going to lose. Man, he's inactive. So he's pretty inactive, hasn't fought in a year. Hasn't fought more than once a year in 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5 years. And also, he's coming up in weight.
ShowStats, an esteemed voice in boxing commentary, addressed the Crawford vs. Alvarez pairing with equilibrium and impartiality. He stressed that Alvarez's achievements have long been founded on his resilience, power, and capability to implement constant pressure, dismantling opponents with precise counters and unceasing tempo. His endurance inside the ropes and talent for creating strategic snares render him a hazardous test for any competitor. Alternatively, ShowStats noted Crawford's amateur wrestling foundation, which molded his awareness of equilibrium, command, and foresight. These attributes merged with his elevated ring intellect provide him a singular advantage that few boxers own.
He uses his legs, he uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Álvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it, but he is a bull. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now let me know how you feel in the comments below.
That concludes today's video.